Judiciary, Honorable Registrars present, our esteemed heads of station, distinguished colleagues from the Judiciary, good afternoon. Let me start by thanking the Honorable Deputy Chief Justice for finding time to be here with us today to preside over the closing ceremony of the 11th Heads of Station Forum. The participation of the Judiciary's top leadership in this forum is not something we take for granted. I have been to the annual Heads of Station before, but I must say that this was totally different for me, being that I was here in a different capacity. In the past, I could sneak out from time to time, knowing that someone else in the room was responsible for what was happening. Now, I had to be here throughout because of the weight and heavy responsibility of the office I now hold, and knowing that it is this office that has to work round the clock to find solutions to the challenges that we face. I have no regrets though, and I have loved every moment I have been here. I enjoyed the interactions, and I'm happy to have met each and every one of you. The program was as rich as it was interesting, bringing together aspects of our work, our personal life, and our health. I have had engagements with several internal and external stakeholders since I took office, and I can say confidently that this workshop has been the highlight of those interactions. I have listened in and have heard the concerns raised and proposals that have been made. I'm happy that we have a strong RMC to help my office in the implementation of the resolutions that were enumerated by the Honorable DCRJ. As is evident from the presentation from the DCRJ on the resolutions, we captured the key issues and we will ensure that action is taken. In addition to what he has presented, I would like to lay a bit of emphasis on a few issues. First is on the issue of socialization on STARJ and culture change. STARJ opens a new chapter in the ongoing transformation of the judiciary and the administration of justice, and it is of utmost importance that we carry everyone along. We will therefore give priority to the development of a curriculum that will guide the socialization program in order to sensitize all our judges, judicial officers and staff on the blueprint. Secondly, there was the issue about a proposal to ring-fence station team building funds. I want to say that team building activities are vital to the promise of a team of inspired judges, judicial officers and staff committed to excellence in service delivery. As such, all courts are encouraged to budget for team building during the work planning. I have approved many of these during my term in office, and we have not declined any funded team building activities. However, we need to balance this important exercise with our core mandate to ensure minimum disruption of court services, as far as possible, to ensure that no matters are taken out of the course list. Kindly give us sufficient notice of at least 3 weeks. This is what we'll be asking for. Concerns about reallocation of team building budget can be dealt with on a case-to-case basis. Thirdly is the issue of funding for station for open days where the station budget is exhausted. As I have stated, the place of work plans cannot be overemphasized in the present judiciary. Where we are heading, work plans are of utmost importance, and everything should be in the work plan to avoid knee-jerk reactions to budgeting. I would like to encourage all stations to budget for and hold open days for engagement with members of the public on the work the station is doing. Even as we were here, I was pleased to note that a number of stations had open days this week. This includes Keno, Kangundo, and Madiani. In line with the STARG blueprint, we are exploring ways of deepening our engagement with the public, including through preparation and presentation of soldier reports at the station level. Once the Chief Justice has constituted the soldier committee for this year, we will work with the committee to develop a framework for reporting by stations to their immediate stakeholders at the local level to facilitate more meaningful engagement with our work. Deeper understanding of our work at this level can increase confidence in the judiciary, foster better understanding of our successes and challenges, and help with our resource mobilization. The fourth issue is on performance appraisal for judicial officers and heads of station. As I sat here, I noted the emotive discussion following the presentation by DPOP on the performance appraisal of judicial officers. Colleagues, it is nearly a decade since we rolled out the PMNUs, and it is time to critically examine the appraisal tools to align with our current priorities. The landscape has indeed changed with the rollout of STARG blueprint, and the appraisal framework must evolve accordingly. Under STARG, a judicial officer has many other roles aside from adjudication of disputes that are presented in court. The full spectrum of the roles of judicial officers must be reflected in the appraisal framework. The daunting work we undertake in the administration of our stations must also be considered in our evaluation. Additionally, the focus of our appraisal tools has been the quantity of our work rather than the quality of the justice outcomes we help our clients to achieve. This needs to change so that we can move more to qualitative justice. I also agree that we need to re-examine the weighting of court cases handled by judicial officers. No two cases are alike, and we need to look at the nature and complexity of each case, number of parties, and other parameters that will help us better appreciate the amount of work it takes to conclude each case. Consultation with judicial officers is key in developing this new framework, and I'm glad that we agreed on the nomination of the 7 heads of station to work with us and DPOP on the performance parameters. Fifth is the issue of staff training on ICT and data entry. Colleagues, the new judiciary is now driven by data. It informs nearly everything that we do, from appointments, promotions, and even transfers, to the establishment of new courts and the budgets we allocate to stations and other spending units. The inaccuracy in our data is something that has caught the attention of the leadership team and was discussed last week at the Judiciary Management Committee retreat that was chaired by the Honorable Deputy Chief Justice. When the Administration of Justice and Performance Management Committee presented its report, the JMC resolved that training be done for data entry officers who should, as far as possible, be retained in the data entry role even when transferred to other stations. We will roll out this training in the coming months as directed by the JMC. Sixth is the issue of flexibility of working hours and dress code. The proposals on flexible working hours and how our staff dress for work is a live example of the challenges that call for intergenerational leadership, which I mentioned in my opening remarks on Monday, and which was echoed throughout the forum. Given the nature of the judiciary, this has to be thought through carefully, noting that some of our colleagues work in client-facing functions and they need to be at work during standard working hours. However, we have noted the concerns and the proposals, and we will explore this issue further and get directions from the leadership. The seventh issue was on solar power. As we deploy more technology solutions to enhance our internal processes and service delivery, we have to contend with power supply challenges which compromise the reliability of these solutions. Power supply is a big challenge in many stations. It came up during the court visits by the JSC last year and at the beginning of this year, and it also came up here. Many stations, particularly standalone Kadi courts, have also raised concerns about solar backup. I will task the Directorate of Administration and Security Services, DAS, to review the current solution to ensure we have a cost-effective yet reliable solar power solution which can be deployed in as many stations as are in need. These are a select few of the issues that I thought I should emphasize on. The Honorable DCRJ presented the detailed resolutions, and many other issues were dealt with by the RMC and other speakers during the plenary discussions. Mine is to assure you that we will look into all these concerns. Finally, as we wind up today, I hope that we all enjoyed the Gusii hospitality, and we look forward to the next HOS forum in Makueni.